News is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Welcome back. Well, we're mounting controversies surrounding the judiciary, and some of the judgments that have been put out from the Nigerian judiciary. People are clamoring for alternative resolution to conflict. So we're discussing alternative peace building and conflict resolution platforms in Nigeria. Our guest is none other than Reverend Francis Ago, a priest and a humanitarian. Good morning, Reverend. Thank you for joining us today again on the show. It's good to have you.
God bless you.
God bless you too. God bless you too.
Thank you.
So someone is thinking alternative peace building, conflict resolution platforms. So there are other platforms or avenues that you can address conflicts without actually going to courts. Now, maybe I see you're a priest. Everybody knows you're a priest, judging from what you're wearing. So can you tell us some of these platforms from the religious point of view where people can actually go address conflicts and resolve them amicably?
Well, conflict is part of human society. From history, there have been conflicts. But I want to talk about alternative conflict resolutions or approach. You look at those minor areas to take to approaching conflict resolutions.
Okay.
You look at from history that before now, you may not have all these English courts. You have local ways of handling the issues in the societies. For example, if we come down to Africa, we are colonized by the whites, but before the coming of Europeans, how do we settle our issues? There have been ways we have to settle our issues, and to me, what has caused much of the problem we're having today is that we have neglected the alternative system of conflict resolution, of which these things have been to you look at Igbo cosmology, for example, where we have the father, the mother, the Umada group, the Dioparas, and others. These are organs of the society that stands out to be a better way to settle some conflicts, to settle some troubles within the society. And you can see today that, okay, for example, 2 days ago, I was in a community I don't like to mention here. What are they fighting for? This is a polygamous family that the man has about 7 wives, and the 7 wives has multiple children. And they were fighting for the land, locations of land, property, divisions, and whatever. Then suddenly, one of them who felt that he has what it takes, he's trying to take everyone that talks about sharing the due process to the court. And, why I was, even this morning as I was just coming up to this Enugu, I received a message on my phone because I talked to them at a point that what we must do to retain peace, to retain love, is to take these things out of the court. Let's come to see ourselves as brothers. Let's talk to ourselves. Who actually is causing the trouble? What exactly is our problem? How can we now look at ourselves as brothers and say, okay, brother, take it from there? And biblically, it was even there that Abraham and his brother Lot has to come into a point of dispute, and Abraham said, please, okay, take the part of this so that there will be peace. Because whatever we're talking about is how do we bring peace into the human society? So the alternative ways of it are there. We need to go back to the drawing board. Not necessarily that whatever happens, we take it to police, take it to court, and continue wasting the resources that is not even available.
Okay, so I'm thinking from on top of my head now, the reason why I believe most people will prefer going to the police and then going to the judiciary is the fact that people are made or held accountable, and if there are rulings or judgments, people are compelled to abide by those rulings and judgments. However, with these alternative platforms, how do you get people to abide by the stipulations? For example, if in the case you just mentioned, at the end of the day, you're able to stipulate 1, 2, 3, 4, and someone comes out and says, no, I don't agree. How do you get them to adhere so that peace can reign?
It needs consultation.
Okay.
It takes consultation. It takes approach. And, it takes talking to those people, bringing their psyche to the very point of understanding that they should know. Because if you want to settle a case, you must first of all know what was the foundation of the case. What exactly brought the case into line. And if everybody will now come to be sincere to themselves and say, okay, this is our problem, and as we have seen the foundation of the problem, you can now find a solution to the problem. So, what the ones I've done so far, I'm always trying to bring those people to write letter of undertaking among themselves or resolution.
Okay.
It will be a document.
Okay.
That everybody, it will be written, it will be read before everyone will say, okay, I don't agree on this side. This is where I agree. We can reshape it again until you come to the point that everyone that is part of that committee or that trouble or that family or whoever agrees on the terms that this is where we stand now. Then it will have our all signatures. Even me, who is here talking to you, there are some of them I will sign as a witness. And we will share the copies to ourselves. And as a clergyman I am, you must have to bring in the word of God into it to bind the whole thing up. Then we will pray and ask God to uphold us, to obey what we've agreed on, so that there will be peace. And by the grace of God, we'll be moving to that direction.
Okay, I understand. But if in a year's time, 2 years' time, whatever the case is, and one of the parties stands up and says, okay, I agreed earlier on, but I don't agree anymore. What would be the way forward?
Okay. Now, we're on a social media anyway. There are things I would not like to mention, maybe where it happened or whoever. There is a particular one that come up in that aspect. But that agreement was revoked. We brought in the agreement, and because the young man at some point said he didn't agree, this and that, and that, he went to court, and the court now come upon the whole thing, and the parties were summoned to the court. Then I come in as somebody who was a witness at the point of signing the agreement of peace. And I told the magistrate, look at the paper I have here with me. Look at this young man's name on the paper. Look at his signature. So he couldn't ask the man, then what is your problem, young man? And he was now trying to say, it seems I didn't know what I signed. You see the point? So that's why I say that before you go to this issue of alternative peace mediations or resolutions, there is some elements of talking to the people, so that when you talk to them, psychologically you must have been able to get them know what they are going into. So
invariably, it has to be a hybrid. It has to be, the platform has to exist, but then the courts will be the final, backup, for lack of a better word.
Yes, the court should be the final backup, but what has been my problem is that sometimes when the case ends in the court, the necessary peace must have been distorted.
Once it goes to court?
Yes, once it goes to court. Psychologically, the two parties continue to see themselves as enemy who has gone to court.
So what would you suggest?
But when it is not a case of talking to person talking to.
You're a clergyman, and of course, the Bible said there's a group of people that the Bible classifies as wicked and unreasonable. There are some people that even when you get to talk to them and preach to them, they are still adamant. They want to do what they want to do. Now, in that case, how do you get this person to the table and to abide by the stipulations of the negotiation?
My sister, it still take that pressure of consultation. Approach. Yes, there are people who are very headed in life that they will not even agree. I've had some cases of such. But, you don't just, peace is not something that we just jump into and jump out. It takes your time. it takes your resources, it takes even your intellectual ability, even spiritual and moral, it takes all those things. So when you invest those things into it, at the end of the day, much of them has to be achieved. That is it.
All right. There are some groups, some traditional groups within the communities that you did mention, but you will find out that with the passing of time, these groups, I mean, their strengths have been watered down a lot. For example, the Umona, these people who are given the rights to probably do some kind of prosecution and pass some kind of judgment, and it gets to stand in those days. You find out that this structure or these structures have actually broken down. Now, is there a plan to get them back, to that level of strength where they were? Because they are the ones at that level, in the villages, they are the ones that are going to, make sure that these rules are abided by. So is there any plan to get them back, to their usual glory so that they can help with this conflict resolution and negotiations?
Well, yes, what you just said is correct. It has been bastardized anyway. But the other day I attended the Hanes Ndibo program somewhere, and I was trying to tell them that in such a forum for Hanes Ndibo, let us look back. Let us look back to those things that are reasonable what we've been doing. Let us look back to those things that are morally right we've been doing, and then see how to bring it up. Because in this era of social media, a lot of things have gone wrong. And also in this era of social media, a lot of things have gone right too. So because you must need to look at the two things side by side. So that if we look at what we've been handed over to as our culture, as our identity, as our inheritance of life, are the things we believe doing that are not evil, that are not immoral, then we can bring back those systems of operation. Then retaining the family value, because I once said in this studio, one of the problems we're having is family value. If we retain the family value whereby these components of the family system are being respected, maybe today when you have the first son of the family and he doesn't have much million in his account, maybe the parents may not even think of allow him stand to his position as the first son or whatever. But then if we can come back to understanding that there are need for we to reclaim these ways of handling our things in the positive direction, then it has to start from the family.
All right.
Whereby the father.
All right. Sorry to cut you short. We're still talking alternative peace building and conflict resolution with Reverend Francis, but we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, the conversation will continue. Stay with us.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on e-vibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
I should try harder, so...
Okay, I don't know that one.
Outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hub's on e-vibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
Welcome back. We're still discussing alternative peace building and conflict resolution platforms in Nigeria with Reverend Francis Agu. Reverend, before we went on the break, you were saying something, and I want you to complete your submission.
I was talking about, that we need to go back to the drawing board of giving this due foundational respect to the family, whereby if this component of Diopara, Ndia Dandi Cheers, which have been there, before the colonial masters, there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them. We must not even rush it to the police. We mustn't rush to the court.
Yes, yes, yes.
We need to revive those good ones, place them to the rightful positions, because it is even less cost effective that you call those individuals together, give a complaint to them, maybe someone who has offended you, and they will look into those things and then give judgment to it. Now we have people who are literate. We can't document those things, but those days they don't even document it. But they have the conscience to uphold those things they've said. And you cannot judge, you can't twat it again, because everybody will now abide by what these elders have said this. And they live by it. So now we have courts here and there, lawyers here and there, magistrates, judges here and there, and we're messing ourselves up. What about our dignity?
I hear you about the breakdown of the value system, right? Now I'm thinking, because we've mentioned a lot of structures.
Yes.
Did mention Ndiche, very
Yes.
important. Umuada,
Yes.
very important and
Yes,
strong. Diokpara,
age grade even.
age grade, Otuobo.
Otuobo.
Is there a possibility of leading an advocacy to the government to see how these groups can be empowered by government, so that when they make rules or when they make resolutions, it can stay, right? You think they should be equipped by government somehow?
My sister, look at where the mistake is. Today we have Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters here and there.
Yes.
Are they accessible? Even those who are commissioners of this ministry, do they know their duties? And if you go to many communities today, there are litigations in the court on who is to be the Igwe, who is to be the PG. But should these things come to court to be discussed? The issue of who is an Igwe in a community is the matter of the people's choice.
Sure.
Who is to be the PG is a matter of people's choice. But because we want to, I don't know, I cannot say we want to politicize everybody, we want to manipulate all these things, then they end up in the court. And if somebody wins the rational ruler of a community through the court, or the PG through the court, she will never have respect to anybody. Because she will cry back to tell you, I got it through the court, I have the money. So alternative peace resolution, we can go back to it, we can get it back. If the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Local Government Affairs should now come to understand exactly what is their duty. Because their duty is to look back to this locality. How do they operate? There are traditions, there are customs that must have to be upheld. Not necessarily, because one of the problems we're having is that people are displacing tradition, custom with idol worshiping. They're two different things. Idolatry is a different thing altogether. If I woke up from my house this morning and there is an elderly person in my house, I owe that person respect of greeting the person. It's a custom. It's a tradition. It's a way of life of our own people. If somebody that is elderly than you gives you something, it behoves on you to say thank you or dialogue. It does, so these are so we need to differentiate what we are thinking it is that from what it is not.
Now, if you feel that the ministry or the commissioner or the state actor in charge of traditional issues, they are not given time to ensure that these things are put in place, do you think that a body like Ohaneze can actually wade into this matter? Is this something that can be explored? Because there's no way Ohaneze will lead an advocacy of this nature and magnitude to the commissioner, to the ministry, and be ignored. So do you think it's an avenue that should be explored?
Yes, of course. Even as I speak with you now, if one of the things that maybe challenges me is having the contact of some people who are involved.
Good.
Because, like, if I should now have access to the chairman of Organizing in Enugu State, for example, I can personally approach him to let us come to the drawing board and look at these things. My sister, there are things I don't believe. Much of the times, like my village where I come from, people will tell you, don't go to the village. The evil ones are this and that and that. I'm even an evil person because I should be feared by somebody somewhere. So can I create myself to be always fearing people? It has to do with understanding information, psychologically and emotional part of your life. If the Ohaneze Ndi Igbo should now come into understanding that our people are creating more enmity among themselves than friendship and brotherliness by all these litigations in the court, not doing what they're supposed to do, as coming back to look at the traditional concept of resolution of those problems. Then it could also be a way of letting our people come back to ourselves. I said, we are brothers, so what is even our problem? And from that aspect that we are brothers, we need to, we can now bring, this morning when I was looking at these alternative conflict resolutions, you less spend your money in litigations. It is even more faster.
Yeah, I want to actually draw your attention to something. I guess the question I was supposed to ask before now is, why are we looking for alternative conflict resolution?
Okay.
Right? You did mention that it's cost effective.
Yes.
But aside that, why else are we looking for alternative conflict resolution?
Why we must look to that is that if I can tell you the simple truth of the matter, if you go to court today, if you go to prisons, which have been part of the prison ministry, most of those people who are detained in the prisons are people who are supposed to not even to be there if this alternative system of conflict resolution were applied. And because of the legal system whereby a case can be adjourned and adjourned and adjourned and adjourned and adjourned and adjourned, and it is an unending issue.
Do you think that if we do not mend our ways as a people, that the same, issues in the legal system, same issues, wouldn't they still find their way into our traditional or alternative conflict resolution?
There are some cases that are criminal matters, for example.
Cases of murder.
Yes, those ones that are serious criminal matters should be handled legally at that aspect. But the issue that somebody maybe
civil issues,
civil issue that somebody planted a plantain somewhere and the plantain grew and somebody cut it off from the other side of who maybe the neighbor and there was some dispute. Okay, like that somebody, this person and this person were two brothers and they were living in peace. At some point they got married. This person is the one who built the house. This person had to build his house, and because this wife and the other wife has some altercations and they have to go to court to discharge who owns the house and what, these things it's a mess. We need to bring morality to those things. Ordinary human morality thinking. Yes. My sister, do you know what, nigga? I was telling somebody, this person that is your brother that you are thinking of, how do you mess him up today? Possibly may be the only person who will stand by you in the day of trouble.
True.
Because that day of trouble may come. Another person may stay off because they feel that this is your brother. And when he looks at the side and nobody is coming for you, he will come in. And because he is your brother, you must have accepted him. But then again, you not even know the condition which will to be at that point when that your brother will come in.
Yeah.
So let us respect the relationship of brotherliness in some of these things.
Okay, so finally, because we're out of time, what's the role of the Igwes and the Igwe Council in this whole thing? Because do you think it's because of proliferation of autonomous communities that you think the powers of the Igwes have actually been watered down? Because if we're talking about the 12-1 Dinze, then the Igwe and the Igwe Council should play a role. So what do you think their roles are, very quickly in 2 minutes?
Some of these Igwe, some of them were not even people's choice. And that is one of the capital problems. If some of these Igwes are the people's choice, and those who are the part of the nozzles and the cabinets are the people's choice, they should have the right, the power, the authority to operate. And once they have the right and the power to operate, because of the respect and the law, people will invest on them, they will do a perfect job.
Interesting. All right, thank you so much, Reverend Francis Agu. I wish you had more time to explore this subject matter. Hopefully you'll be back here again too, put more insights so that people can get a holistic idea of what we're talking about. Alternative peace building and conflict resolution platforms in Nigeria. Thank you so much for your time.
God bless you.
Bless you
God bless
too.
you. Thank you.
All right, do stay with us. New Day continues after now.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.